Like many times I have stated that we need to create our own schools because I've seen the difference when children go to schools that is created and ran by the Black community versus public schools. And in public schools, you subject your children to a lot of racial bias. And we are covering this today, these series of videos, to show you how racism, discrimination, and utter sabotage, because understand, racism is about sabotage of us, sabotaging us, as we covered in another video about our home ownership, sabotaging the sales of the homes that we have and reducing what is worth by 50% and making us lose $156 billion worth of money that belongs to Black homeowners. Okay. So with the education and how they sabotage your children's education, let's talk about that. So they had exposed in a study the discriminatory practices in the American education system, as they found that Black children are more often disciplined and more severely punished by principals when doing the same behaviors as white children. So nothing different, the same thing. This child do something wrong that's white, the one is Black, the Black one is punished severely. So say Shauna Jarvis, a PhD psychology student at the University of California, Berkeley, wrote the study along with Dr. Jason Okonofor and a psychology professor at UC Berkeley. They studied how 85 principals and assistant principals solve hypothetical issues concerning a student who is misbehaving in class and sent to their office. Now, according to their study obtained, in each case, the disciplinary actions were labeled as either the student's first offense or the second one. So they said the ages of the students, or whether the principals work at the elementary, middle, or high schools were not specified. So they said additionally, the students' names were randomized based on race. They stereotypically sounded like based on prior research. So names for a male student, for instance, were Greg or Darnell. They say on average, principals and assistant principals gave Black students with the first disciplinary offense 20% more severe rating than white students who had their first offense. And so when it came to the second disciplinary issues, administrators was 29% more severe with Black students than white ones. And say further, and say this discipline severity was explained through Black students being more likely to be labeled as a troublemaker than white students, even though Black students aren't coming up and airing out an AR-15 in schools. Okay. Read the abstract for the study. And I said, which was conducted in 2017, which was published in the Journal of Social, Psychological, or Personality Science on October 10, 2019. It's a future effort should focus on principles in order to mitigate the negative impacts of the school to prison pipeline. Now I say the severity of the discipline action the study found could explain why Black students are 4 times as likely to be suspended or expelled from school compared to white ones, according to the research. Now, they said a separate study published in February in the Journal of Crime and Justice builds on prior research that showed Black students suspended 3 times more than white students in elementary, middle, and high school, and they face a disproportionate amounts of expulsions and suspensions over actions like disrespect. They say the more students fall behind, the less likely they are to graduate from high school or enter college, and the more likely they are to become incarcerated, a growing concern called the school to prison pipeline. So with that being said, they sabotage Black children by treating them different for the same things that a white child would do. They do nothing, no different, but yet they sabotage their education. They sabotage the child's future, because you can't have an education, you don't have a future. They make sure to get him labeled as a troublemaker or a problem child. With that, they leads to them with the race soldiers in schools, giving criminal charges to these Black children, putting a record on them. They're going to end up 9 times out of 10 having them in the system. So you see how, once again, Black children are sabotaged in public schools based on just them being Black, not the way they act, with just being Black. We have to understand this system permeates with anti-Blackness. It's in every institution out there. Home ownership, education, finance, anything you could think of, there is anti-Black bias there. So when you hear me say, and I keep talking about this, having your Africa plan, Black children, and there are people who are Africans that watch this show from many African nations. I want you to leave a comment and you tell me if your children are being disciplined or suspended just because they're Black. I know it's a silly question to ask, but I want you to answer that because they need to know. A lot of my brothers and sisters here need to know, because some of us really don't want to look at how deep it goes, how every aspect of our lives is scrutinized and hated. You understand? Now, some people may say, well, I knew this already. No, but you're not thinking about it. When in the area of us in this country and how for 400 years we have been shown the disdain, and we have done, as African Superstar in the interview said the other day, and shout out to African Superstar, we have done everything they said to do to make them happy. We have not been loud, a lot of us. We shuck and jive. We bucking our eyes. We showing all our teeth every 5 minutes. We speak for them. We start getting up there acting like Jesse Lee Peterson to make them happy. Nothing works. You work hard. They sabotaging that. You feel good about yourself. They call you uppity. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to get you, brothers and sisters, to understand our condition and where we are at in this country and where our future lies. And the future is getting worse and worse and worse in this country for us. We have to accept that. We have to. Now, if you live in this country, you could possibly minimize some of that by doing a few things, but you can't completely get away from it unless you started to look toward the continent of Africa. Or if you don't want to be there, you say, man, I want to go to Thailand. I want to go to, well, wherever you want to go. Because I've seen videos where Black people living in Vietnam, Japan, and everything else, and they happy as they can be. They say they're not dealing with the issues and problems. Me personally, if I'm going to go somewhere, it's going to be the continent. That's how I feel about it. I have my Africa plan. It's in the works because I see the writings on the wall. But thank God that my little one don't have to be enduring that in school. I refuse to allow her to endure that stuff in school. No, that ain't not going to happen. I don't want to expose her to that. She don't even know how it feels to even be different like that. And that's the perfect way to be. My little girl got Black teachers and it's great. It is so great. You don't have no issues, no problems. These children can actually learn in a learning environment, the teachers that actually care about them. Because that public school system, even if you have teachers that care, even if you have some great teachers, the systems don't support those teachers. They don't support them at all. I've seen it. Great teachers have just quit teaching because they can't deal with it anymore. They can't. So it's a messed up situation. It's like they want the worst of the worst in public school. But what I'm trying to tell you about our children, it is our responsibility to protect our children. If we don't protect them, who else will? So what I'm saying is, in this country and the way everything runs, we're screwed in a lot of ways. We make do, but I gotta give you the harsh reality. Education is a great thing. Then if you go to college, if you don't play that right, you get $100,000 debt to, or more. And people right now are wanting student loan debt cancellation now because people thought when I get out of school, I have a job. If you didn't get in a field where that's actually needed, then you stuck out for real. And then now you got a big bill. A lot of people dealing with that today. That's why they want something done about it. But the issue with us, we are dealing with so many problems. Standardized tests, are written in a way to make it harder for Black children. The rules, all kinds of things that happen. Like it's so much against us. We have to understand, the severity. Now, if people are going to say, well, what is the solution to all of this? I will tell you this. You find a solution that works for you and your family, first and foremost. You have to understand, we are a news outlet. We are a media outlet. You don't go ask Don Lemon to give you a solution to anything. So it's the same thing. Or Anderson Cooper or whoever else on Fox or MSNBC. We are reporting the facts for what they are. Then when you get the facts, then you get with your local activists, your political people that's local, national, regional. You take that information and then you make change in your community. That's how you do it. We can't do everything as a media outlet, but we sure can give you the information so you could take it. You could do something about it yourself with like-minded people. But the way our children are treated, I know we heard of school to prison pipeline, but with today in this series of videos, we got to present to you the conditions that we're in. But leave me a comment, let me know what you think about this particular story about our children and how they're being treated in public schools, no matter what's going on. If a white kid do something wrong and a black kid do the exact same thing, the black child is going to be severely punished, severely. The race soldiers and everything else. We got to think about that. And with that also being said, you know, those of you who are having your Africa plan, you got your passport, you're ready for your next step in your Africa plan, your first trip to the motherland. We have 3 trips coming up. We have in May, and all of these down below in those pinned comment down there. I leave it. All you got to do is click it. We have the Senegal and Gambia. Those of you who want to go to West Africa. This one will be with World Views, who we went with last year to Kenya. And you can pay a $500 deposit on that one. There's still spots available for Senegal and Gambia. The next one we have underneath that will be South Africa. That one's almost sold out. So if you want to go, you better jump on it quick. I would click that link, fill out the form, let them know you're from African Diaspora News Channel. Mark from the Real South Africa will get in contact with you about deposits, etc., and everything you need to ask them for. And the next one is Kenya in October. That's a 12-day. That's one with World Views. And those of you who went last year, you know, you enjoyed yourself. And some of you wanted to stay longer. I heard some of the same people from last year want to go again. Great, because you know you had a great time. You know what you're getting into. And actually it'll be a lot longer this time around versus the last time, which was 7 days. So you can click that link down there and you can pay your deposit, or you can send a message to Kia and Tiffany, and they can give you whatever information that you need for the Kenya trip so you can be on your next step of your Africa plan. Because all we have to do is get you to the continent. Once you get there, you're going to figure it out on your own. Nobody got to tell you nothing ever again. That's the way that's going to work. But even if you go one time, you need to go multiple times. I always tell people that. So you can see if it's one country you're liking, you say, I want to get there, get on the ground, do that. Keep doing it, get relationships, find out what you need to find out. You're not going to find it all out in one trip, but hey, you can keep going. But let me know what you think in the comments about our kids. But, you know, for me personally, like I said, it's horrible because kids are innocent. They don't ask for nothing more than just love, protection, and what kids need in life. And it's just pure evil on how our children are treated just for the color of our skin. That's why I keep preaching going to the continent, because when y'all see that you don't have that problem there, it's going to really change your paradigm.